here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's April 21st here in Seoul. I'm Shin, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And Park Gi-hoon.
Thank you for having me.
And both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. And we're going to start with our news feed, a news feed which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Now, police have summoned the grandson of the late former president Chun Woo-won over using narcotics. Now, this was after the National Forensic Service identified various drug usage in his system. Last month, police investigated Chun over suspected illegal drug use after he flew in from New York, and Chun Woo-won came to Korea to apologize on behalf of his grandfather for the hundreds who died in the 1980 pro-democracy movement in Gwangju. Moving on, there will be a new road traffic law kicking off this Saturday, which will obligate drivers to stop completely before making a right turn at intersections. The 3-month grace period has come to an end, which means drivers who violate this rule will now face fines of up to $150 or detention for up to 30 days. Now, ending with some unfortunate news, K-pop star Moonbin, a member of the boy band Astro, was found dead in his home in southern Seoul on Wednesday night. Police suspect the 25-year-old took his own life, but are still conducting an autopsy. Now, Moonbin had been an actor and model before joining Astro in 2016. His sister Moonswa is also a K-pop singer in this girl group, Billy. Now, waves of condolences spread on social media, and many were devastated to see yet another K-pop star take their own life. In 2017, Jonghyun, a member of one of South Korea's biggest boy bands, SHINee, committed suicide. Minwoo of boy band 100% died at home of suspected suicide. And Korea also lost K-pop stars Holly and her close friend singer and actress Kuhara. So it's not the first time we've heard such upsetting news about K-pop stars taking their own lives, but it's hard every single time to believe this is true. Many fans were shocked to see their beloved idol, who always smiled and seemed happy to the point that they energized others, now gone. So I would now like to bring our newsfeed here into the studio. So Gi-hoon, how did this headline hit you?
You know, I was quite shocked to hear this news. It's always tragic to see so many young people end their lives due to whatever reason. And as much as the fans are in shock, I think his family members will be in so much pain right now. And my deepest condolences goes to them. And I think everyone has a right to live a happy life, no matter how much spotlight you receive or you don't receive. And people go through hard times, and it's all about how you manage the stress and the hard times. And if you're having kind of like mental health issues, it's always okay to seek professional help. It's okay to do that, but rest in peace.
Rest in peace, for sure. And that's why fans called for better management by music labels and entertainment agencies, especially since it's not the first time to see these stars commit suicide. And Walter, what do you think are the reasons behind such tragedy, and how do you think we can better prevent this from happening ever again?
Yeah, so it's obviously such a sad story, right? I mean, ordinary people also take their lives on a daily basis here, but it's just these larger than life characters that we see on the news that really affect us. I remember when Solly passed away, actually, and I was honestly devastated. It really ruined my day, because she was a K-pop idol that I really liked to watch. But we just can't point to one reason why things like this actually happen. For a person to take their own life, it's really not an easy thing to do. It's very, very, very difficult. It takes a lot of pain. It takes a lot of hurt to do so. So there are many reasons usually, but in regards to K-pop idols in the past, at least, we know that we've seen such online trolls, or what I call cowards, in this area, and the hateful comments. I mean, I was shocked to hear that in Korea there is a lot of what they call anti-fan groups. I mean, who spread hate to those fans that they don't like, the idols that they don't like. I think it's just an extreme waste of time. How do we stop this from happening? I mean, that's the thing that we need to start looking at. I mean, I know when Solly passed away that they were trying to introduce Solly's law to stop these people from, bringing out these hateful comments, but unfortunately it didn't pass.
Right, a simple mistake or just doing it for fun could take the lives of other people, and that's a grave matter that needs much more attention. And that was our news feed for this Friday. Moving on, we're going to be talking about today's discussion topic. Every April 21st is Science Day in Korea, established in 1968. This day aims to promote the importance of science in our daily lives. And that's why we've decided to talk science and IT today. To find out more, take a look at the screen. As we're seeing technology advance to the point that AI is writing our essays and robots are serving our food, a fundamental question seems to be posing concern. Can robots and artificial intelligence replace us? More specifically, could AI replace millions of humans in the workplace? Investment bank Goldman Sachs back in March released a report saying that artificial intelligence could replace some 300 million full-time jobs, even for administrative and legal professions. Generative AI like ChatGPT and similar AI tools are also threatening coders and computer programmers that are currently in high demand. That's because AI is good with numbers, is much quicker and more efficient to manage. In light of Science Day in Korea, NewsGen aims to answer 3 questions. 1. Though it's groundbreaking to see how far science has come, what are some drawbacks from rapidly developing tech? 2. What are some occupations that could disappear in a few years' time due to AI? 3. How should our generation prepare for even more scientific advancements? Specifically, how should we prepare ourselves when the job market completely changes from AI's growing presence? So today is Science Day here in Korea. We've seen a lot of scientific developments here in the country as well. Korea will launch its homegrown Nuri space rocket on May 24th, and this will be the 3rd launch of its kind. Also, a group of researchers recently developed a fine needle patch for diabetics, and the medicine melts and enters the skin through microneedles. And this is just a few of the many developments we've been seeing in science and IT. And what were some scientific advancements that we've seen this year that caught your attention the most, Ki?
You know, there are quite a few in Korea because we are at the forefront of science and IT on a global scale. But just to expand on what you mentioned earlier, Yen, South Korea became the 7th country in the world with the ability to put a satellite weighing over a ton into orbit, just like with Nuri space rocket. Despite the failure in the first launch in 2021, the second one was a huge success in 2022, and many are highly anticipating the 3rd launch scheduled for May 24th. And I think this is an amazing achievement in the Korean space industry. However, every page has 2 sides, and of all scientific developments, artificial intelligence was especially eye-catching for me for both good and bad reasons. Some people voiced their concerns within the job market that the growth of artificial intelligence will take over their jobs.
Right.
So to give you a better understanding, let's take a look at the screen. An online survey platform, The Poll, asked the question, will artificial intelligence lead to fewer jobs? Among 26,860 people, almost 20% said not sure. Around 20% said increase. Just the type of job will change as we have seen in previous industrial revolutions. And almost 60% responded to a decrease in jobs due to AI. So more than half are already thinking AI will replace manual jobs, which could be a worrying sign unless we take appropriate action to meet these changes.
I see. So as you mentioned just there, we're going to be talking about the biggest question that always seems to be following AI development. It's whether AI will be able to replace human beings in the workplace. So what are some occupations that seem to be at risk, Walter?
Well, I guess as technology advances, artificial intelligence is becoming more and more prevalent in the workforce, at least. While this can bring about many benefits, it also poses a threat to certain jobs or occupations that rely heavily on repetitive tasks, and that can be easily automated. Now, one occupation that is particularly at risk is that of a data entry clerk. Now, with the development of advanced OCR, or optical character recognition, technology machines can now read and enter data faster and more accurately than humans. Now, this could lead to a significant reduction in the need for human data entry clerks. Now, for the first time in my life, I sounded very smart. But here's the thing, that wasn't me.
I thought so. It didn't sound like you.
It didn't sound like me, did
like
it? Because that was actually a speech written by GPT.
It wasn't you then.
It wasn't me. I cannot come up with something so sophisticated as of that. I asked the program, write me a brief script on what are some occupations at risk of because of AI. And that's what I came up with.
And the generative AI did your job perfectly.
Yes, and now it's going to be used all the time. No, but let's take a look at the screen on what other jobs could be in danger. So if we're going from the top left, going clockwise, well, let's say technology, the tech industry, computer programmers, coders, software engineers, data analysts, media industry, journalists, advertisers, writers, and even entertainers. Teachers, professors, finance industry as well, financial analysts, insurance planners. I mean, it seems like a lot of those big important jobs are at risk.
And local media outlets have done surveys to find out that these jobs are at risk, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, I see. And Kyun, what are your thoughts on this?
I'm actually quite concerned and worried that 2 of my jobs were on the list.
And they are? What are the jobs? Can you tell us?
Yeah, like writers and teacher as well. So
Right.
I'm kind of a little worried. But, I want to stay a little positive because, this transition of job replacement from AI will take some time, hopefully, or even generations, as we have seen from previous industrial revolutions. And I'm sure there will be like a fine balance where more new job opportunities will arise with the replacements.
I see. And as I saw on the graph as well, they mentioned journalists.
Yes.
And that caught my attention as
Hi,
well.
Ian.
Oh, does that mean I'm gone?
Nice knowing you.
Oh my gosh, because journalists, panelists, broadcast
Yeah, I
writers.
know.
So does that mean everyone's going to be replaced by AI here in the studio, Walter?
Well, I definitely think there are aspects of our job as anchors, journalists, panelists, or entertainers that could be taken over by AI. For example, voiceover. And we know because we've done that episode where you
Right.
use a voiceover. Editing, writing, taking Ki-hoon's job, for example. So with writing though, we have to be careful still because even though all these example chat GPT passages come out really, really sophisticated, there are also malicious texts that have been coming out. So we're not actually quite there yet. We're in the early stages, believe it or not, even though it seems to be very, very advanced.
Right.
However, at the end of the day, I think people tune in to see people like Yeon and Ki-hoon, right?
Aw,
Right,
that's a really good way to end this off.
And they don't really want AI. Even though there are AI entertainers, we love personality. We watch shows because of the people. We don't watch shows so much so for the content as well. However, I think personality is more important than the content itself in some cases.
Yes, I'm really hoping our viewers are watching because of us. All right, what about you, Kyun? What are your thoughts on this?
I am sure that jobs can be replaced by AI, but just like what Walter just mentioned, we as humans have emotions and preferences.
Definitely.
Meaning that, we react differently to different people, whereas AI hasn't come to that stage where they show real human emotions. But if they do, it'll be quite scary. So I'm not really looking forward to that. And like what Walter said, I'm sure our viewers want to see the real human Yeon and the real human Walter. Maybe robot Ki-hoon, they might prefer, I'm not sure, but I just don't want to see avatar versions of you guys.
Yeah, and definitely at the end of the day, you have to realize that AI is being made and managed by human beings. As you mentioned, Walter, ChatGPT might seem to be legit, always providing the right information, but it's database based on what human beings make. So there's mistakes in and there. And also, we need to understand that AI is different from humans. We as humans should understand that first.
Yes.
So then what do you guys think are the pros and cons of AI helping or possibly even taking over certain occupations?
I mean, it really does depend on the job itself. But let me give you an example where AI has become helpful recently, at least. New York City recently released 2 security policing AI robots. Now, one of those robots is called DigiDog. Now, DigiDog has the duties of entering high-risk situations, example, like an active shooter situation. So we don't want to put real people in those situations at all. So if DigiDog could be put into that situation, it's obviously better for us. I know a lot of people have been pushing back on this, saying that it's over-policing. However, I think if we can reduce the risk of death amongst our so anywhere in the workforce, it's a positive thing.
Right. And what about you, Ki-hoon?
AI can definitely save us time and effort. Manual labor is one example where robots and machines can become much more efficient and effective than humans as long as they're managed well of course, by humans.
Right.
And the only con that I worry about is robots taking over the human race, like we've seen in some science fiction movies. So I'm not really looking forward to that. And hopefully it doesn't become reality.
And in order for that not to happen, I think you mentioned a good point. The core should be human beings. In AI, the core should be human beings in there. And we've just listed a few jobs that we think could be replaced by AI in the near future, and also about the pros and cons this technology provides. But to find out exactly which occupations are most at risk and how AI could affect the job market, we're going to be hearing from an expert, and we'll include him right after this. So we're now going to be hearing about the pros and cons of AI and how worried we should be here in the studio about how this technology could affect our jobs. So let's include Park Ju-yong, director of the Post-AI Institute at KAIST University in Korea. Great to have you here with us, Ju-yong.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
All right, so I would like to ask you the first question, Ju-yong. So you heard us list a few occupations we expect to disappear or be greatly affected with the bigger presence of AI. And what did you think about our forecast?
Yeah, you raised many valid points, and occupations do face challenges. So while certain jobs could be eliminated, many jobs still utilize those human abilities that AI simply doesn't possess. So one of them is understanding individuals' personal needs, experiences, and social contexts, which are by definition human, right? So jobs will likely change, but not completely disappear. You mentioned teachers in the list of endangered jobs, but if you try to remember your favorite teachers, they were not just conveyors of knowledge, right? It's the training of social skills, fostering of individual talents that what our good teachers are there for. And you also lump teachers with the professors, but rest assured, after having played around with ChatGPT, I sleep well at night knowing my job is very secure.
All right, I totally agree, because you have that personal connection you build with actual humans compared to technology. And Walter, any comments on this before you go on to the next question?
I don't know. There were some teachers I wish were robots rather than real life. There was a lot of teachers I grew up with where I didn't like them at all, and maybe an AI robot would have been better.
It could have been. It could have been.
But yes, what do you think would be the biggest change in the job market with more developed artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so having said that, AI actually has come a long way in the automation of certain aspects of human work. So those who are able to use them will have an advantage for sure. For instance, AI can look up information and perform simple calculations very quickly. So it will be a huge time saver for those who depend on it. So the separation between those who can use AI effectively and those who fall behind might widen for this reason, which is a warning for people who actually are kind of falling behind. But overall, I think using AI will be beneficial because ideally it can free people to be more creative and put more effort and time into things that machines cannot do. So the hope is that the whole job experience will improve because we can focus on more what humans want from the job, the fun part, and also the good teachers who can't be replaced by AI.
All right. And Kim, do you have any comments or thoughts or questions you would like to ask Ju-yong?
I mean, like what Ju-yong said, as long as we can keep up to the technology and with the people who are lagging behind, we can kind of educate them as well. I think everyone can really utilize, AI to its maximum. So my last question is, this concerns a lot of people, but especially the new generation, because we're becoming the primary workforce. So how do you think we should prepare for a time when AI could take up most jobs or be side by side with us?
Great question. So I would say that any generation faces a challenge. So the key is knowing the nature of the challenge and change it into an opportunity for new things. So the one area that is benefiting from AI and other modern technology is training of a new generation of mechanics, because it allows you to simulate very expensive environments where you can start to learn the skills. And learning new skills, that is exactly what the new workforce is looking for, right? So there will be many opportunities. But the big keyword for the new workforce will be the creativity and human experience that AI is falling short at again. So my experiences with AI is that it's just good at what a computer expected to do, and humans are not computers. So humans will still need to solve human problems. So case in point is, So the unemployment rate is at a historic low right now. And modern tech has not taken away our jobs in any form. But the only sector that is shedding jobs here and there are the big techs that are making the AI. So the joke is on them, actually. They've trained or developed something that can do their work, and they're being replaced. It's the creative sector that the AI actually tries to have a foothold, but it's not really doing it because it can't do those human things. So, in order to find new opportunities, please ask yourself what it takes to be human, and the answer will hopefully will follow. And so you're a very creative young generation. I have great hopes for that.
All right, thank you so much. And I think we found the key to find how we can maintain our jobs here in the studio. All right, thank you so much, Shuyoung.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Nice talking to you.
So what it takes to be human, those are the few words we have to remember in order for AI not to be replacing them. Could you relate to that, Walter?
Well, I hope so.
You want your job, yeah.
But that's exactly right. Is like I mentioned before, and as the doctor mentioned, the social aspect, the understanding social cues as well, is something very important and only something that I think at the moment humans can do. And it will be a very long time before I think AI can read a person's emotions, a person's social cues, etc.
And I was really very happy to hear that AI can't catch us up on creativity, because I think creativity is so unique. It's only up for us. What did you think?
Because I am very creative. I'm just glad that after listening to the doctor, my job will not be at risk for now. For now, until I die. So I'm a little content for now. Yeah.
But in order for us to do that, we need to keep working on ourselves.
Exactly.
And before we continue our talks, let's also hear from our global viewers. So we asked what jobs they have and whether they think AI can replace them. So take a look at the screen to find 3. Benny said, I was a call center agent before, and I'm currently concerned for my former colleagues at my former job that they'll be replaced by AI. Jiawei Ki said, I'm currently a healthcare support worker. I don't worry about my job getting replaced by AI. My job involves feeding and cleaning disabled or elderly patients at home. Aging populations will require more people like Jiawei. And I saw news that Japan is hiring lots of careers from Indonesia. It shows that my job is in great demand in the future. Cool Yoshi said, I work as a software developer and am not worried at all. AI can write code, but it still requires a pilot who has the technical capacity to guide it and also correct any mistakes it makes. Anyways, I tried ChatGPT and I feel like it has a really, really long way to go. And these were some comments that we could relate to because we've been talking about that throughout our discussion. And now I'd like to bring us to our final thoughts. I think it's not just us having to prepare for AI taking over the job market. Actually, the government and companies should also take big part and have exit plans for those who might be potentially replaced. So Ki-hoon, do you agree?
I can't agree more. At the end of the day, humans are the ones who made AI in the first place. So I think we need to take more responsibility to supporting our own race rather than, developing more on AI, trying to create more creative, these efficient computers. And the last thing I want to say is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Leave it the way it is.
I love it. What about you, Walter?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. Like a world without workers, human workers, could most likely crash civilization. So I think we need to find ways where everyone is still getting their work done by themselves rather than by AI. Like for me, I have to make sure that later on in life, if there are going to be those sort of robots, that they follow the 4 rules of being a robot, and that is a robot may not injure a human being. The second rule, a robot must obey the orders given by humans, so listen to me. So third rule, a robot must protect its own existence. But the most important, a robot may not allow a human being to come into harm.
Exactly, because AI should be a handy tool, a helper as it is, but it shouldn't be replacing human beings. And we'll be here every day from 9:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you topics that young people are talking about. Special thanks to Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And Park Ki-hoon.
It's always a pleasure.
And thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. We are
News Generation.